The Princess and the Pea. One day, a prince decided it was time to marry. The only problem was finding the right girl. He decided to go on a journey in search of his princess. The prince climbed into his golden carriage and started off on his journey. The king and queen wished the prince good luck and waved goodbye. Soon, word spread throughout the kingdom that the prince was looking for a wife. Many ladies wanted to meet him. Some were noble women, some were daughters of royalty, and some were daughters of wealthy businessmen. The ladies the prince met were beautiful and charming, but the prince did not think any of these women were right for him.
I hope I meet the right girl someday.
The prince sighed.
But I will not settle for a princess that is not really right for me.
Sadly, he decided to return home. One night, the sky began to turn dark. Then, a terrible thunderstorm came. As the storm raged on, a servant heard a knock on the castle door.
Who could that be?
He wondered. The servant opened the door. He saw a shivering, wet girl.
Of all places near and far, why did you decide to come to the castle to get out of the storm?
The servant asked. The girl promptly answered, Because I am a princess. Whether she was a princess or not, the king and queen decided to let the girl stay until the storm had passed. They gave her food and dry clothes to wear. When the prince heard about the girl that claimed to be a princess, he asked to see her. Maybe she was the girl he had been searching for. The girl was very beautiful, even more beautiful than the ladies the prince saw on his journey. The prince fell in love at first sight and wanted her to be his wife. But first, he wanted to make sure the girl was a princess like she claimed. The queen was also concerned. Then they came up with a plan. I have an idea, the queen declared. I will put a pea under a stack of 10 mattresses. If the girl sleeps well, she might not be royalty. But if she notices something hard under the mattresses, she is without a doubt a princess. Soon, it was time to go to sleep. The queen took the girl to her room. My goodness! I've never seen so many mattresses on one bed, the girl exclaimed. Just wanted to make sure you were comfortable, said the queen. Good night. In the morning, the queen asked, How did you sleep? I hate to complain, but I did not sleep a wink, the girl said. It felt like there was a hard lump under the mattresses. The prince and queen now knew that the girl was really a princess, as no ordinary woman could feel a tiny pea under all those mattresses. The prince and princess were married, and they lived happily ever after.
The Boy Who Cried Wolf, written by Donna Kim. Long ago, there was a shepherd boy living in a village. Every day, he watched the villagers' sheep on a hill. The shepherd boy was naughty and liked to play jokes, so the other children in the village did not play with him. One day, the village had a festival. The shepherd boy could not go because he had to watch the sheep. He decided to play a prank on the people in the village. The shepherd boy yelled, "Help! Help! Wolves are attacking the sheep!" The villagers heard the shepherd boy. They grabbed their farm tools and ran up the hill to help. When the villagers arrived, they saw no wolves and the shepherd boy laughing. Everyone left angrily. Throughout the day, the shepherd boy played the same trick several more times. The mayor of the village was upset with the boy. Then he kindly said, "If you keep playing this trick, no one will come to help you." But the shepherd boy did not listen. A few days later, wolves came to eat the sheep. The shepherd boy was very afraid. He yelled out, "Help! Help! Wolves are attacking the sheep!" But no one came. The wolves came closer. The shepherd boy hid in the tree and yelled out louder, "Help! Help! Wolves are attacking the sheep!" Still, no one came. The wolves were now so close, the shepherd boy cried out in despair, "Help! Help! Wolves are attacking the sheep!" Luckily, the mayor saw what was happening. He said to the villagers, "I have just seen some wolves on the hill. Let's go help." The villagers ran over the hill and helped to chase the wolves away. Finally, the sheep were safe. The shepherd boy felt ashamed of his bad joke. He said to the villagers, "I am sorry that I fooled you before. I will never play jokes like that again." From that day on, the shepherd boy never told lies. So the other children in the village made friends with him, and the shepherd boy was no longer lonely.
The Dancing Family by Kate Greenaway. Pray let me introduce you to this little dancing family. For morning, afternoon, and night, they danced away so happily. They twirled round about. They turned their toes out. The people wondered what the noise could all be about. They danced from early morning till very late at night, both indoors and out of doors, with very great delight. And every sort of dance they knew, from every country far away. And so it was no wonder that they should keep dancing all the day. So So dancing, 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 in sunshine or in rain. And when they all left off, why then they all began again.
Be Safe on the Street. Written by Curtis Norris. Mark lives with his family in the city. It is a very busy place. The sidewalks are crowded with people. The streets are full of cars and motorbikes and buses. It can be dangerous to get around in the city. Mark's dad wants him to be safe when he goes outside. So he teaches Mark how to behave in the city. If your ball rolls into the street, he says, don't run after it. Wait for someone to give it back to you. Always look both ways before you cross the street, says Dad. Don't cross if there are cars coming. Wait until it is safe. Mark always looks both ways before crossing the street. It's best to cross the street at the corner where there's a light, Dad says. Do you know which color means go and which means stop? Mark knows. Green means go and red means stop. He smiles. You have to be safe on the sidewalk too, says Dad. Watch where you are going so you don't trip and fall. Stay close to the buildings, away from the street. Mark watches his steps and says, Okay, Dad, I will. The next day, Mark goes out alone to buy some candies at the shop. He is in a hurry, but he remembers what his father taught him. He walks carefully to the corner, staying close to the buildings. He stops at the corner where the light is red. He waits for the light to change to green, then looks both ways before crossing safely. At the shop, he buys his candies and heads home. Along the way, one of his candies drops and rolls into the street. He does not go after it. A kind lady on a motorbike stops and picks up the candy and gives it to Mark. Thanks, he says, then returns safely home to enjoy his treat.
Doing well. After the school year ended, Jacob got boring because he had nothing to do during his summer vacation. So his parents sent him to his uncle's house to help with the farming. One day when he was hoeing corn as usual, Mr. Myers, the neighbor, came and asked, "What are you doing, Jacob?" said Mr. Myers. "I am hoeing corn, sir," said Jacob. "I see, but have you hoed those rows?" asked Mr. Myers. "Yes, sir," Jacob answered. "There are a good many weeds left in the hills and between the rows. There should be no weeds left where you have hoed," said Mr. Myers. "I'm not trying to hoe it very well," said Jacob. "Why not?" asked Mr. Myers. Because the corn will grow without it," Jacob replied, hesitating to give a reason because he had no reason to give. "Have you heard the old proverb, 'Whatever is worth doing at all is worth doing well'? You should either hoe the corn well or not at all. You should never do anything without trying to do it well," said Mr. Myers. "But I don't want to be a farmer. If I wanted to be a farmer, then there would be a reason for my doing all things related to farming well," said Jacob. "What do you want to be?" asked Mr. Myers. "I want to be a professional man. I want to get an education. When I begin my education, I will do everything relating to it as well as I possibly can," said Jacob. "My young friend, you have already begun your education, and you are carrying on the process every day," said Mr. Myers. "I am not studying now. I am going to begin next fall," said Jacob. The process of education is not confined to classroom study. That is only part of the process. Education consists of the formation of character, and character is formed through your daily habits. One important habit is to do things thoroughly in the best possible way. Thus, even when this is not the job you mean to have, you still need to do it perfectly. Because whenever you do anything carelessly, you start to acquire poor habits," said Mr. Myers. "I thought if I studied to become a first-rate scholar, I should be an educated man," said Jacob. Then Mr. Myers said, "To be a well-educated man, one must do everything in a first-rate manner. Only men who are first-rate can command great success in life. The Word of God gives the best possible rules for education as it does for the soul. It says, 'Whatever your hand finds to do it with all your might.' That is, do it diligently and as perfectly as possible. Whatever you do, even hoeing corn, do it as perfectly as you are studying. Just like the Bible teaches, everyone should be a first-rate person in whatever his or her chosen path."
The New Year's Baby by Isa Martel. Jessie watched the snowfall outside of her window and counted each flake. She felt like every day she was counting and waiting, counting how many days until the new year and waiting until her brother got here. There were 5 more days until the New Year's Day. Jessie's parents bought things for her new baby brother. There was a new soft blanket and a pair of warm, lovely onesies.
"When will Josh be here, Dad?"
Jessie asked Dad.
"Soon, sweetie,"
Dad said. The next day, Jessie's parents got lots of food and sparklers. Jessie wanted to see the sparklers crackle and glow.
"Not yet,"
Mom said.
"You must wait for the 1st of January to arrive."
"When will it be the 1st of January, Mom?"
Jessie asked.
4 more days, my dear,"
Mom said. The next day, there was still 3 more days until New Year. Mom was knitting baby booties.
"I want to make a gift too. When will Josh be here?"
Jessie asked.
"Any day now,"
Mom answered. On the last day of the year, Jessie was ready to make her brother a gift. Dad brought her paper, scissors, and glitter.
"When can I give it to him?"
she asked.
"As soon as he's here,"
Dad answered. On New Year's Eve, Jessie's family sat down to enjoy the last meal of the year. Suddenly, Mom left the table in surprise, Dad following behind. When he returned, he announced,
"Let's go to the hospital."
It was time for the baby to be born. In the hospital, Jessie was so nervous that she could not sit down. She was worried for Mom and her baby brother as well. She watched the clock. It got closer to the new year. It was 5 minutes until midnight. Jessie wondered if Josh would be born this year or the next. Jessie looked at the clock. 4 more minutes until midnight. Only 1 minute had passed, but Jessie felt like she had waited forever. Jessie took from her pocket the present she had made for her brother. It was a glittering snowflake. She hoped he would like it. At 3 minutes until midnight, Jessie wondered what her new baby brother would be like. She wanted him to be healthy and happy. She also wanted him to like her. Jessie looked at the clock. 2 minutes. Then 1 minute. The new year was coming closer and closer, and her brother was still not here yet. Jessie hoped everything was fine with Mom and her baby brother. Jessie heard the sound of fireworks exploding. New Year is coming. Just then, Dad came out of the door announcing,
Jessie, Josh is here.
The whole family went to Mom's bedside. Jessie hugged her brother for the first time.
For you, Josh. Happy New Year. From now on, we'll spend every year together.
The Dream Shoes. Luke and Dad went shopping for shoes. I really like this, Dad, Luke said. They were too expensive, don't you think? Said Dad. Luke felt sad. He needed $15 more. Dad said, You can earn the $15 by doing housework at home. Sure, I'll try that, Luke replied. Luke cleaned the windows. He cleaned the floor. He cleaned the bathroom. He now had $15.
I got it!
On the way to the shoe store, Luke saw a poor woman with her son. They looked sad and hungry. The woman said, Please, spare us some money. Luke forgot about the shoes. He gave his $15 to the woman. The woman said, Thank you so much. They will not be hungry anymore, he thought. Luke told his dad what happened. I am very proud of you. I will buy the shoes for you, Dad said. Luke was happy. He helped other people. He was happy to have new shoes, too. Belling the cat. The mayor of Mousetown called a meeting. All the mice came, big and small, short and tall. The mayor, a fat mouse with long whiskers, climbed upon a stool. He said,
Our enemy, the cat, has to be stopped.
Yes, we want to live and grow old, said the town clerk. We need some way of knowing when the cat is coming, said another little mouse. A little mouse by the name of Pipsqueak spoke up. If we know she is coming, we will have time to run and hide.
Just last week, she got my brother,
said a girl mouse in a pink dress. She sniffed and almost cried as she thought about her brother. The mayor tapped the table to get everyone's attention.
An early warning plan is needed. Any idea?
He said. The mice turned to each other and chatted. They were sharing ideas and scary stories about the cat. No one came up with an idea.
Excuse me.
Emily stood up in the middle of her circle. Everyone was surprised. Emily was known as a shy little mouse.
I have an idea,
she said.
At Christmas time, we always have bells on the gate outside our house. That way, we know when a guest is coming to visit. So, if we had a bell to place around the cat's neck, we would know she is coming our way.
The mayor smiled at the idea.
We'll have time to run quickly and hide.
The mice were laughing and dancing around. Pipsqueak spoke up. Have we decided which brave mouse will bell the cat? No one answered. The idea of being near the cat frightened all, let alone belling her. They had gotten a wonderful idea, but no one was brave enough to make it happen. That's why until now, the mice are still scared of the cat.